A black before, but I gotta acknowledge him and probably give him a little props. Sometimes the niggas you think are the dumbest, they actually play dumb just to catch a nigga who seems to be smart. And I'm wondering if that's the situation with Kodak at this point. Let me explain. Kodak Black has defied the odds. Kodak Black went on trial, literally went on trial for sexual assault. He went on trial for a federal case where he filled out that he wasn't a felon and he bought a gun. Then he went on trial, or he took it to the extent where he had the gun and he was trying to go to Buffalo, but he ended up in Canada. So he's crossing. This nigga Kodak Black has had so many opportunities to be locked away for years. Remember Gucci Mane? Gucci Mane at a certain point started doing bids. Kodak is the only nigga. And by the way, yes, Kodak has been locked up for like a year or maybe sometimes over a year. I'm not saying he's never like been incarcerated. But Kodak has been afforded way more opportunities than even Gucci or anybody else in the game. And I remember me being very skeptical of him calling this guy right here. He was calling this thing his daddy. Right? He's calling this guy his daddy. Let me see. Well, this guy right here. So Kodak bought him like some car and calls this guy his father. Right? He calls him daddy, literally. And I see why he calls him daddy. Because this nigga's saving him from all type of shit. This guy's making sure Kodak don't get ever locked up. We hear that he's caught with coke. They do all type of shit. They're like, oh, it wasn't coke. It was crushed up. Oxycontin. Like, Kodak is escaping from the most shit with this guy. And this is why I think Kodak is a little bit emboldened to keep doing all the bullshit. Look at this. This is his lawyer, by the way, who he calls daddy. He says, in typical Kodak fashion, he just pledged to donate to the college fund of a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old, whose father was a Minnesota officer killed recently in the line of duty. Expecting a second son this Friday, he knows how important family is and hopes it helps relieve some burden. So they're trying to do PR. So Kodak donated $15,000, which, by the way, congratulations to Kodak. I'm glad that you're in the donation mood. But we also got to believe that this is self-serving. You're donating to the police after the police locked you up, right? You're trying to clean that image, but it's all good. You can't look a gift horse in his mouth. We also heard a day ago, his lawyer once also says, federal probation is terminated with time served. In the Southern District of Florida, Judge Martinez, right, dismissed all substantive counts, and Kodak pled to sole violation of failure to report police contact. Time served, and he should be released by tonight. So if you don't know, Kodak was like locked up on like almost these phantom charges. We didn't know what he was locked up for. Like, what the fuck was Kodak locked up for? We, of course, heard about the drug case that he caught, but we don't know what happened afterwards. Then his lawyer proved, it wasn't, they did a whole bunch of stuff to be like, it wasn't, here we go. As stated when this new case was first filed, this was not cocaine, and the officer was lying about his observations. Now, here's the thing about this. A powdery substance being found, the cop is going to put whatever, but it has to go to a lab, right? So, again, I'm not sure if it's the cop is lying. Like, I think any human being with a sane mind, if you find a powdery substance around someone you're going to incarcerate, around their nose, mouth, or anything of the sort, you would think that motherfucker is on cocaine. So anyway, that's what he was charged for, but apparently the lab report of the samples that was confiscated came back and said it wasn't cocaine. It was Oxycontin, which Kodak Black had a prescription. Now, I have a lot of questions about this. Is Kodak snorting Oxycontin? Does anybody even do that? Does anybody break down pills? Like, say you get a pill, do you like fucking crush it up and snort it? I thought pills were supposed to be like ingested orally, right? Oxycontin, I don't think it's a snorting type of drug. But anyway, somehow he kind of got out of this, and let me keep reading. Knowing that the officer substantially misrepresented his observation, the Broward State Attorney Office still filed the charges. Unbelievable, and it will not be tolerated. This level of abuse of power by the arresting officer is disgusting. We will be seeking a new bond hearing and addressing these unethical practices by the police department. Okay. Now, let me stop here and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this in a vacuum. This isn't about Kodak Black, but I want to say this in a vacuum because I've been around a lot of musicians that, yeah. And let me just say this. Half of these musicians are certified junkies. I don't care what their lawyer says. I don't care what they say. They're all junkies. The majority of them. A lot of these gangsta niggas, they're all junkies. Here's the thing. They're legal junkies, though. That's the thing that you have to understand. Yes, they take coke. Yes, they take they sip lean all day. Yes, they pop 50 million perks. But they're rich. They understand that because this isn't like some fucking weed when weed is illegal, you could get a fucking doctor to prescribe this to you. And as long as you have a prescription, you get to basically take the substance in unlimited amounts. Now, I'm not speaking necessarily about Kodak Black, but I'm telling you about the realistic situation with the majority of rappers. Like, the majority of rappers these days, unless they're broke, they all sip lean, but they all have prescriptions. Do you get what I mean? They all pop perks, but they're not getting it from the perk man. They got prescriptions. Now, granted, is the prescriptions legit? Come on. You hit a nigga with $5,000 for him to write a fake prescription. Will he do it? Think about it. So, these situations often arise where these guys are like, either doing stuff with drugs or experimenting or doing extra shit. And then the police come and be like, no, you're abusing drugs. And then they come back and be like, how am I abusing drugs? Look at my prescription. It is what it is. You get what I mean? So we have to be cognizant of that. Am I speaking necessarily about Kodak Black? No. Right? And by the way, the reason why I wouldn't speak on Kodak Black's drug use, especially if it was OxyContin, is because he got shot. Kodak got shot. And from what I understand about, let's Google the drug, right? I got to get, my bad. That's going to be one of my last songs. Oxycodone, or oxycodone, which a lot of people call OxyContin. It's a semi-synthetic, narcotic, analgesic, and historically a popular drug of abuse by narcotic abusing population. Let's see what it's used for, though. Let's see. Apparently, there's some opioid shit with it. Okay. Let me see. Why is it prescribed? It is believed to relieve moderate to serious pain. So that's the main thing. It's a pain relieving medication. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a pain relieving medication, and it extends. There's OxyContin extended release tablets and extended release capsules. They're used to relieve severe pain in people who are expected to need pain medication. So it's essentially a pain medication, right? Around the clock for a long time, who cannot be treated with other medication. It should not be used to treat pain that could be controlled by medication that is taken as needed. And it should be only used to treat people who are tolerant to opioid medications because they have taken this type of medication. Okay, all right. So it's a pain medication. Now, that kind of makes sense. Kodak Black, who got shot in the leg, and obviously, you probably had to go to rehab, a lot of rehabilitation for his, leg wound. Yeah. Makes sense why he would have an OxyContin or oxycodone prescription. So it kind of makes sense. I'm not going to lie to you. Makes sense. Now, why was it in powdery form around his nose and mouth, as our officer said? There's two options. The officer lied, or, I don't know drugs like that. Maybe, shit, you have a prescription for it. Maybe you could fucking press that shit into some other stuff for it. I don't know. Anyway. Regardless, this was his attorney detailing Kodak Black basically eventually getting his case dismissed because, let me see, hold on. Getting his case dismissed because pretty much they didn't have a legit argument that he had coke and they charged him for the wrong thing. And what ended up happening is that as soon as he got out of jail, and I never knew paparazzi to be in Florida, but apparently it wasn't paparazzi, it was just the press. This then happened. Let me see if I could pull it up. Where is it at? Where is it at? Am I tripping? No, not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Here we go.
And we begin with breaking news. Rapper Kodak Black has just bonded out of jail.
And he got aggressive with Local 10 News reporter Rosh Lowe. Rosh is live at the Broward Jail in Fort Lauderdale to show us what happened. Rosh.
I've been doing this a long time, and let me tell you, this is one of the strangest things I have ever seen. Not only did he get aggressive with my photographer, Brian Murphy, but he actually started throwing rocks at this photographer. Simply doing his job, Kodak Black started throwing rocks. I want you to listen to this for a moment. Don't throw anything at our camera. Don't throw anything at our camera. Don't throw it at our camera. Got the cops. So what happened after that, and we have more audio that we'll play for you later tonight, Kodak Black threatened to punch me repeatedly. And, we didn't back down. We're simply doing our job, trying to get this guy coming out of the Broward jail, and you'll see him here. He's been behind bars since December. He was a violation of probation. He was actually free today. He comes out of the Broward jail. I walk up those steps, and there's Kodak Black. And the first thing, I was alone without a photographer. He threatened to punch me. And then our photographer gets up there, and you saw it there on the video. Now, I don't know if we have the capability to do this, but if we can listen to that sound one more time, I want you just to see.
Tonight we begin with breaking news. Rapper Kodak Black.
Okay, let me try to play the full thing. I think it's Local 10 News. Local 10 News, Miami. Let's see if you could. Let me see. Trying to get y'all the full video here. It's probably on YouTube, I guess. Kodak Rock. Today. Here we go. Okay, perfect.
And only a local
Served. And Kodak's been in custody.
Okay.
First at 5.
And good evening off the top.
Rosh.
Nicole, and these rocks hit my photographer right in the ribs. This was serious. You know, it is very usual in our profession to interview people coming out of jail, especially noteworthy people. What is unusual is what happened today. Rocks being thrown and threats being hurled. Don't throw anything at our camera. Kodak Black. Don't throw anything at our camera.
Rosh, call the cops.
Just out of jail.
That's when you wake the Kodak bell up. I've been hibernating, chilling, bro.
He has been chilling in jail since December, but he accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to a technical violation of his probation. The judge sentenced him to time served. And Kodak's been in custody since Plantation police reportedly found him passed out in a Bentley with drugs on him. You want to punch me?
I ain't standing you, homie.
Okay, I'm not going to back down from you, Kodak.
When?
I'm not going to back down from you.
My son about to be born in less than 48 hours. I ain't worried about y'all, homie.
After throwing rocks at our photographer. And look at that again. I wanted to get your side and say hello to you, and you threatened to punch me.
I did.
Threatening to punch me. Don't threaten to punch me again. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
You understand what I'm saying? You want me to call the cops on you right now, Kodak?
You know what I mean?
You want to threaten to punch me again on camera?
This how I'm living, It ain't nothing like you seen on BET.
Kodak sings his way out of jail.
All right.
Just like that, he's gone. But the damage, done. As you saw there, a truly bizarre situation. Once again, my photographer being hit in the ribs by those rocks, and he simply...
Yo, you know this nigga about it. Well, not him. I guess the photographer. They're definitely going to sue.
Doing his job to bring all of you at home these images, trying to get Kodak Black to explain he's a public figure, what it was like being in jail the last couple of months. And one final note tonight, if you are curious, you heard my photographer Brian Murphy say, call the police, call the cops. Fort Lauderdale police were called, a police report was filed, and we'll keep you updated. We're live tonight in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Rosh Lowe, local.
Wow. Oh, so they did report it to the police. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I keep trying to give y'all like an insight of how the majority of these rappers live. When you're like a very successful rapper, and this is what I'm telling you, there's levels to this, right? If you wonder why Diddy gets away or probably did whatever he did, allegedly, I don't know if he did it, for years, is that when you're really rich, and I'm even, let's start at the Kodak level, and obviously I'm not accusing Kodak of nothing that got to do with Diddy, but I'm trying to tell you this. Nobody says nothing to you. That's a fact. What you do is either people play catch up in trying to make sure you're good because you're the money getter, but nobody checks you. There's nobody who could check Kodak on his team. That's a fact. There's nobody who could check Diddy on his team. Once you get to it's a sliding scale of a lot of rappers and people in entertainment surround themselves with people that nobody could check them. Right? And what that usually allows for is usually for a situation where you see somebody getting in trouble a lot. Like, okay, let me speak on Kodak, right? And by the way, again, I'm not accusing Kodak of nothing with Diddy. I'm just telling you it's a sliding scale. Every time I've been around a celebrity who's really up, bro, it's like they don't live on planet Earth. They make their own rules. They do what they want. They treat people where, I'm telling you, it's always like that. Here's what I'm saying about Kodak. Kodak is one of the people who, you know, historically, there's videos I can find on YouTube right now where he says, I'm managing myself. Now, listen, I'm not fond of like managers, especially who are just going to collect 20% and do a bunch of nothing. But a lot of artists, and I think I'm using a lot of names here and don't think I'm lumping all together, but I'm telling you about my experience with people who are on. Like, for example, 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine never wanted to be managed because 6ix9ine wanted to call the shots. He want all the money. And fuck a manager. He wants people just to, when he says A, they do A. So a lot of times people usually say, what the fuck? Why don't he management, right? Let me show Kodak Black managing himself. Like, I think he made an announcement one time. He basically says he not finna, like, he don't got no manager. Says he has no man. Maybe it wasn't a YouTube video. Oh, that's money. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay. January 21st, 2021, Kodak reveals, oh my God, they're trying to fuck me over with this. Sorry, hold on. Remember it? And by the way, you're going to see a lot of these things kind of like combine itself. When C Murder was trying to get with Kodak, like obviously Kodak's a lit person who's generating a lot of money. These guys almost try to slide into a manager perspective. And a lot of these new artists, they don't believe in managers, bro. You know why? Because the managers that they know of don't do anything for them. I don't need you to go collect wires or sign contracts. I could do it myself, or I could have my business manager do it, or I could have an assistant do it. Why would I want to manage? Because usually what happens in a game is, and I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing up management with Kodak, right? Let me actually start with that first. The reason why you see Kodak here, like he just got out of jail, and there's no, like, Kodak is a high profile, we want to say, are we going to call him an A-list rapper? Do you call him an A-list rapper, or you want to call him B-list? At minimum, a B-list rapper, but still one of the premier rappers in the game. It's no way Kodak Black, who has one of the best attorneys in the game, he's calling the nigga daddy. They know he's going to get out. You're telling me Kodak doesn't have management and everything else that's gonna have like a fucking sprinter picking him up, security walking. There's not even gonna be an altercation with motherfucking the press. Yo, watch out, watch out, watch out. We gotta bring Kodak in. Yo, they know exactly when, like, these are jails. Like, they're not just letting people out at any fucking time. They have certain times when they let people out. So if Kodak knows he's getting out, his lawyer knows he's getting out, his team knows he's getting out, why is Kodak out here just chilling dolo? And this is one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of problems with Kodak, if you ask me. Why is Kodak sleeping in his Bentley because he's drunk and he can't call somebody to say, bro, come get my car, nigga, I'm lit as fuck. Bro, get my car, drive me home, make sure I'm good. Why is Kodak having to do all this shit himself? Now, again, I'm telling you it's not partly, it's all his fault. I don't think that Kodak is putting the pieces around him to help himself. It's no way that Kodak should be looking like this when you're that up as a celebrity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, again, bro, we've seen, do y'all remember when Diddy went to jail? Like, and again, I hate that I keep bringing up Diddy, but remember when Diddy went to jail for hitting that nigga with a kettlebell in LA County? Bro, there was like a fucking caravan that followed him to the jail. There was helicopters this and third, and when he got out, you never even seen him get out. You know why? His whole team was there to make sure they fucking blocked everything that the press could cover of him getting out. His lawyer made sure it was in secret, and they got him out and got him out of Dodge. My thing is this. This is how you know, like, bro, Kodak ain't a regular nigga. If you gotta get out and call people like, yo, y'all about to come pick me up, I'm free. Yo, where y'all niggas at? You don't have the right team around you. You paying these niggas hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and they're not operating. And again, I'm not gonna blame them because I know niggas like Kodak. Niggas like Kodak don't allow other people around him to do their job, or don't allow people around him to, I won't say necessarily put him in check, but do the things necessary to prevent these situations, right? Just think, and do y'all understand what I'm saying? Name another celebrity. Did you see Chris Brown when he just got out of jail just be like, yo, where y'all niggas at? Yo, where y'all at? Where y'all down the street? Yo, I'm out here with like niggas filming me. How the fuck is Kodak just here?
In our profession.
Now, here's the thing. And whoever his team is, and I do know his team, and his team texts me all the time because they just sent me this goofy ass shit saying, hey, he donated $15,000. Bro, listen, that's not going to cure the problem of what people are talking about. If you his team and you texted me like the PR thing, at this point, you're late. And again, I'm not really personalizing it, y'all, because I know I speak to y'all a lot. But think about it. Y'all should have been there to pick this motherfucker up and get him out of Dodge. Not there to, oh, okay, now he's back in the news for bad things. The police has been called again. Let's now try to donate to the police benevolent association that maybe he could look good. How is Kodak Black getting out of jail and you don't see nobody with him? What the fuck is going on?
That's when you wait to
I thought this nigga was with him behind him, but it says EMS. That nigga wasn't with him at all.
That's when you wake the Kodak bell up. I've been hibernating, chilling, bro.
He has been chilling in jail since December, but he accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to a technical violation of his probation. The judge sentenced him to time served. And Kodak's been in custody since Plantation police reportedly found him passed out in a Bentley with drugs on him.
You want to punch me? I ain't standing you, woman.
Look, you have this guy here, he's EMS. I thought he was with his team. This shouldn't even happen. This shouldn't happen.
Okay, I'm not going to back down from you, Kodak. I'm not going to back down from you.
My son about to be born in less than 48 hours. I ain't worried about y'all, homie.
After throwing rock.
This is the mess. I'm sorry to say. And I got to blame Kodak primarily because here's the thing with Kodak. Yo, Kodak, you have to put those things into place. Put it like this, and I'm using a little bit of my experience. Hey, I've been in this industry for over 10 years. I think we're approaching 15, right? Whether y'all want to believe it or not, academics, like before about like 2-3 years ago, I've never had an employee. I don't pay nobody. Basically, everything that happened, Big Act was doing himself. But it gets to a point where, like, you get to realize, well, these days, 55 people want to talk to you. These people want to inquire about shit, blah, blah, blah. I had to hire people. I had to hire people to try to make it easier and also understand the flow of how things are happening, that it could be easier for yourself. A lot of these guys, and I'm speaking directly at Kodak and 6ix9ine, who are anti-manager, you see them in situations like this. And I'm gonna be honest with you, maybe you don't need a manager because nobody wants, like, I keep telling y'all, rappers are the cheapest motherfuckers on earth. So you know why niggas don't have managers? Niggas is like, wait, so I make $1 million and I gotta get that nigga 200,000? Fuck that. That nigga ain't shit. I'm the star. Nobody, like, that's how artists think. Or they be like, wait, I get a $10 million check and I gotta get that nigga $2 million? Fuck that. That's how artists think. Like, artists are the most selfish people on earth because they look at it at the end of the day. Without me, none of y'all would be here. However, bro, you got to get like a team, get an assistant, get this and third that could make sure that you're okay, brother, because this was just a bad look, if you ask me. Very bad look. And, you know, doing it in post to try to like, oh, we're donating doesn't really do it justice. I think there's some more footage. Here we go.
He's been behind bars since December. He was a violation of probation.
Let's see if I can find, there's some additional footage, I believe.
Strangest things I have ever seen. Not only did he get aggressive with my photographer, Brian Murphy, but he actually started throwing rocks at this photographer. Simply doing his job, Kodak Black started throwing rocks. I want you to listen to this for a moment. Don't throw anything at our camera. Yeah. Don't throw anything at our camera. Don't throw it at our camera. Call the cops. So what happened after that, and we have more audio that we'll play for you later tonight, Kodak Black threatened to punch me repeatedly. And, you know, we didn't back down. We're simply doing our job, trying to get this guy coming out of the Broward jail. And you'll see him here. He's been behind bars since December. He was a violation of probation. He was actually free today. He comes out of the Broward jail. I walk up those steps and there's Kodak Black. And the first thing, I was alone without a photographer. He threatened to punch me. And then our photographer gets up there, and you saw it there on the video. Now, I don't know if we have the capability to do this, but if we can listen to that sound one more time, I want you just to see what Kodak Black was doing. Can we listen to that again? If we can't listen to it again, you heard it the first time. He picks up a rock and he just chucks it at our photographer. You know, this is very interesting. This is
Yo, let me say this also to Kodak Black. Man, yo, with all due respect, you're one of the luckiest artists in history. I see why you call your lawyer your daddy, because of course only daddy could keep getting you out of trouble when you're clearly doing shit that's not helping your situation. Kodak Black doesn't stay out of the way. He doesn't involve himself in nonsense. It seems like he's always doing things that's going to put his freedom in jeopardy. And I got to be very honest. Kodak is one of the niggas. I don't know if he'll ever learn until he gets a sentence 5 to 10 years. Because he's got incarcerated a whole bunch of times, but he's only locked up for like maybe a year and a half. And he never learns. And again, I'm not saying you're going to come out like Gucci Mane or something like that. But I do believe that when you're coming out and you're still as ignorant as could be, right? If you are like, you know, he's taking most court proceedings as a joke. Like, y'all see the thumbnail for the stream. His daddy keep getting him out of it. Kodak in court.
I was waiting on Mr. Goodman. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Please.
Go ahead.
Now, I don't want people to get this misconstrued. I'm not hating, and I don't wish jail upon Kodak, but I do want Kodak to understand that, with all due respect, Gucci wasn't this lucky. No other artist was as lucky as you. You're getting yourself into so much trouble that you're doing minimal and nominal amount of time compared to what they would have done. So again, nobody wants you to be incarcerated, but at a certain point, we gotta look at you like, motherfucker, how much times are you gonna get in trouble before you actually realize that, nigga, you're luckier than most and your luck might run out at a certain point? That's, I think, the only thing that I think Kodak doesn't understand. If you ask me. Bruh, Gucci was not this lucky. Think about the people who have served a lot of time. Give me some more names. Give me some more names. Give me some more names of people who have served a lot of time in prison or jail. Who y'all said? Someone said Yak is untouchable. Somebody says, oh, he reminds me of DMX. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. With all due respect, I don't think that's a flex. Like DMX, you know, and I want to be very careful saying this because I have a tremendous respect for him, but DMX went outside for the latter years of his life. DMX was a shell of his former self, and his addiction and also just like, you know, penchant to being involved in some of these like ridiculous situations that always involve the police really put him in a bind. Kodak is a new Kanye? No, not even close. Somebody says Youngboy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see Youngboy teeter the line of going to jail this much as Kodak. Not even close. Somebody said Vaughn got arrested 30 times. Well, Vaughn got arrested like when he was broke, like a bunch of times. When he got on, he got arrested pretty much once. Right? Like he got arrested once and then he passed away, but he wasn't like really out here doing the most. The thing also with DMX, we forget, like there were stories of DMX supposedly and reportedly overdosing, and y'all remember when he supposedly had passed away, or like he like technically may have died like in a parking lot, like just like passed out because of some overdose shit, and they brought him back to life and whatever the case is. DMX didn't seem like he was having a ball. And I think we look at Kodak, you know, DMX at that point was like in his 40s, 50s and shit like that. We're looking at Kodak, who's still, like, you know how old Kodak is? How old is Kodak Black? Kodak is 26 years old. And he spent just off and on, like in the last like 6 to 8 years, probably maybe about like 5 years incarcerated. I mean, I just don't get it. I literally don't get it. Vaughn might have been in the feds by now with all the shit he was talking, y'all. No, he would have been in a RICO charge for the death of FBG Duck. He would have. You do know that Vaughn was the name that was supposed to be the head of the O Block indictment, right? So who knows if, you know, because, you know, we don't know exactly how the filing went, but you do know the feds hinted towards, hey, listen, there is someone that all these guys were indicting, we're reporting to, but we can't charge him because he's dead. That's exactly what they said in documents. So Vaughn, if they would have went through with the case while he was alive, he would have been charged and seen as the head of an organization, which is the Oblockians, right? Somebody said,